Hello everyone, this is Monalisha Padi. I am a legal intern at Lexis and Company, and I am a third year student of Bharati Vidyapeeth New Law College Pune, and I am a third year student. And today's topic is understanding inquest and its procedure. Investigation on an inquiry under section 174 of the code is distinct from the investigation as contemplated under section 154 of the code relating to commission of a cognizable offence. In the present case, the Mumbai police has done nothing except attempting to stretch the purview of section 174 without drawing up any FIR. Since the passing of judgment, lot of people are talking about inquest procedure and its scope. The problem lies not in discussing but having a discussion based on wrong understanding of the inquest procedure. An investigation under section 174 CRPC is limited in scope and is confined to the ascertainment of the apparent cause of death. It is concerned with discovering whether in a given case the death was accidental, suicidal or homicidal or caused by animal, and in what manner or by what weapon or instrument the injuries on the body appear to have been inflicted. It is for the limited purpose that persons acquainted with the facts of the cases are summoned and examined under section 175 or CRPC. The details of the overt acts are not necessary to be recorded in the inquest report. The question regarding the details as to how the deceased was assaulted or who assaulted him or under what circumstances he was assaulted or who are the witnesses of the assault is foreign to the ambit and scope of proceedings under section 174. Neither in practice nor in law it is necessary for the person holding the inquest to mention all these details. Their omission is not sufficient to put the prosecution out of court. In Sikila Kadir versus Nausher Gama, a contention was raised before the court that non-mention of a person's name in the inquest report would show that he was not an eyewitness of the incident. It was repealed by the court on the ground that an inquest under section 174 CRPC is concerned with establishing the cause of death and only evidence necessary to establish it need to be brought out. The same view was taken in Iqbal Beg versus State of Andhra Pradesh, that the non-mention of name of an eyewitness in the inquest report could not be a ground to reject his testimony. Similarly, the absence of the name of the accused in the inquest report cannot lead to an inference that he was not present at the time of commission of the offence, as the inquest report is not the statement of a person wherein all the names ought to have been mentioned. This is absolutely no requirement of law of mentioning the details of the FIR, names of the accused or the names of the eyewitness or the gist of their statement, nor it is required to be signed by any eyewitness. If a person dies naturally, then there lies no suspicion so as to death of the person. But in the case of unnatural death, the case is caused due to circumstances which needs to be explained and examined. There lies an obligation on the state to secure the health and life of every citizen of the country. If any crime is committed, the crime is committed against the state. If a person dies due to unnatural circumstances, the state is burdened to identify the cause of death, and if there lies a suspicion as to cause of death, the state must appropriate steps to punish the guilty. Chapter 12 CRPC deals with giving or reporting of information to police in cognizable cases and its power of investigation. Section 154 clause 1 falling under this deals with registration of FIR by the officer in charge of a police station on the information laid before him related to a cognizable offence. It casts a statutory duty on him to enter the substance of such information in the prescribed form, which is commonly called first information report, and the act of entering it is called the registration of a crime or case. As it is, the officer has no choice but to enter the substance of information as laid before him. If it relates to the commission of cognizable offence and he cannot embark upon any elaborate inquiry to ascertain the genuineness or reasonableness of such information and to refuse registration of a case on that, he may conduct some discreet inquiry if the complaint report contains uncertain, indefinite and ambiguous allegation raising doubts about the commission of a cognizable offence. but it is not open to him to conduct a full dress inquiry into the merit, reasonableness, or correctness of the allegation, and to assume the role of a trial court in the process. So this was the part 1 of the topic, and we'll continue this topic in the next video.